Hi everyone, it is Marie here from Skeinz. Good morning and happy Good Friday to you all this Easter. As you can see, I have an assistant here today. This is Hugo, who is my youngest. And what was it yesterday, Hugo?
Yesterday was my birthday.
Yeah, how old were you?
I'm turning 12.
He was 12. So thank you to everyone. There are a number of you I know who watch here on the Speakeasy that wished Hugo a very happy birthday yesterday. So thank you for that. And our recipe actually yesterday, Hugo, actually, if you may or may not have seen, has been one of my assistants in the kitchen and has been helping with, in fact, the pasta recipe that I talked about the other day was cooked by Hugo. And what did we do for your birthday dinner? What did you want last night?
So I found some really nice American nachos. So I said to Mum, maybe we should cook that up. So it was really good.
Yeah, so it was a different method to how I usually do it. And they were sort of layered, and you had to make like this liquid cheese type con queso sort of mixture, and it was sort of kind of like the nacho version of lasagna, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
It was good.
Yeah, so it was very, very, very good.
All
Right.
fellow guys, remember Skeinz.com. Represent.
Yeah.
Get some yarn. They were doing this epic sale like a month ago.
Yeah.
They're doing it. Yeah, Skeinz.com.
Yeah,
Skeinz.
Thank you, Hugo.
Of course, Mother.
And if you could keep the dogs inside, that would be appreciated. Right, as you can see, he is a chip off the old block. And many of you I know have met our Hugo at Nidogwas Nights. So he is, yes, he's definitely his mother's son, that one. Looks like his father. Personality very like his mother. So welcome today on Good Friday. I've got a few things to talk about today, but the first thing I wanted to talk about is there are a few eagle-eyed people this morning who may have noticed there were a couple of changes to the front page of our website. As you know, we contacted IMBY on the 30th of March, and I had a very long conversation with a lovely officer from IMBY, and we had an interview, and we were granted permission to open on the basis of mental health. As you know, a lot of water has passed under the bridge since then, and it's a very, very fluid situation. IMBY have been really grappling to try and handle what is or isn't an essential service. And it doesn't just fit within our area in terms of craft supplies, but right across the board, including food producers, those in service industries, and other completed food providers. Late yesterday, they put an update on their website around what does constitute an essential service, and knitting supplies was one of the things that was updated as non-essential, which is a reversal from the information and the permission that we have been trading under for the last 12 days. Now, I have made but the one thing that has changed is they did actually extend the criteria, particularly around essential appliances, and also under the criteria of warmth, which is why you're seeing clothing manufacturers, places like Briscoe's and the like, who are also open selling clothing, jackets, blankets and such. Now, at Skeinz, we have always done blankets. We have done blankets for a number of years, and I'm actually going to talk about those blankets in a minute. But we still have permission to trade, and the website is still up and running and online, and we are allowed to trade with permission. For those out there who like to think that I'm not sincere or truthful in what I'd like to say. So for those ones out there, we still have permission in order to trade. The permission has just been narrowed to blankets and those items with warmth. Now, we're appealing this. We actually believe that the logic behind our status for mental health is incredibly sound, and that is a conversation which is still ongoing with the ministry, but also too, under the expanded criteria, we just find that the logic of being able to supply a completed blanket as an essential item is one thing, but also then being able to not supply the components for that completed blanket, so you can do it at home, or even make your own warm clothing just completely at odds with the guidelines as they've set it out. So this is a conversation that is still ongoing between us and them, and I will, as things change, I will let you know how that conversation goes. So in the meantime, yes, our website is still open. Yes, it is up and running, and we are able to dispatch blankets at the moment, and that's the permission that we have. If you do happen to order yarn, it may not be dispatched until level 4 has been lifted to level 3, and or we have had a result from that appeal process. So don't panic too much. There was a number of orders that were dispatched, 2 big clumps, both yesterday and the day before. So for many of you, if you're wondering where your orders are, every likelihood is they will probably be delivered to you on Tuesday or Wednesday when the couriers come back. And just bearing in mind, it is Easter, people. So there is 4 days. A lot of those distribution lines will not be working anyway. So so just call your jets and let us know if you've made orders this past week and you still haven't received them by the end of next week, do let us know, because we will actually chase them up, because there's every likelihood that those orders are snailed up in the system somewhere. But believe me, we're working on this, and we've got, we feel really, really passionate about the validity of why we're doing what we're doing. And for those that, the messages have slowed down, the negative messages have slowed down from some, but for those who are believing that we're going out and spreading this virus by having our warehouse open, is a fallacy. It's a fallacy. Online businesses are able to trade in states of Australia where they have infection rates that are actually slower than the infection rates that we have here, and they're not seeing the issues that we have here. The people I really feel sorry for this update are those in the small food business sector, so butcheries, vegetable suppliers, bakeries, coffee roasters, all of those sorts of businesses now under this updated legislation are considered non-essential. And these are all businesses that, like us, only necessarily have 1 or 2 people organising and dispatching contactlessly to you. They're keeping you at home. They're making sure you don't need to go out. We've relied on those businesses. Those are the businesses that have been predominantly supplying our essential food supplies, so we don't need to go to the supermarket. Because the logic, as far as I'm concerned, the logic of actually herding everybody for food into supermarkets, and you saw the lines on TV last night. I went to the supermarket for the first time in 3 weeks on Wednesday, and you try keeping a 2-metre social distance down a supermarket aisle, even if they're trying to keep the numbers down, it is impossible. So we're very, very passionate about this, and we're working towards it. But yes, we do have permission to still maintain the website being open. If you need blankets, and as I said, I'm going to talk about that more in a second, we will have those. And if you are going to be ordering yarn and the like, there may be a delay in those orders coming out to you. Right, so that's all I'm going to say about on that front. I'm going to get on to some exciting stuff of what I've been up to over the last couple of days. So the good news is I have actually finally gotten some knitting done. When I spoke to Stephen yesterday, and wasn't that so much fun catching up with Stephen yesterday? He is such a joy. He was just the relief that I was actually having a bit of a day yesterday, and chatting to Stephen was just the relief that I needed to certainly make my day feel better. So thank you, Stephen. It was just an utter joy to have your infectious goodness on the show. It really, really was wonderful. So that was just awesome. So after I spoke to Stephen, we did some birthday bits and pieces with our young man, and I actually managed to get some knitting done last night when we did a family movie, which was A Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. Michael Caine, Steve Martin. The kids had never seen it. I haven't seen it for years. Oh, what a good giggle. They absolutely loved it. And, those sort of older films, our kids just thought it was fantastic and thoroughly enjoyed it. So while I was watching that last night, as I reach over into my bag of tricks, I finished my colour work in the Rambla. Look at that. Doesn't it? Looks good. Looks really good. I'm happy with it. You may or may not have noticed that in the pattern through the central portion here, the main colour of the colour work here, it does actually have bobbles. I actually did a couple of bobbles, didn't like it. And the other reason I didn't like it as well is when I sort of positioned it, sort of popped it over my head to see where the positioning would be, and I set it. The colour work sort of sat here, and the bobbles were, yeah, no. I mean, the girls are saggy and draggy enough as it is. They don't need knitted nipples as well. So we nixed the bobbles. I don't think it matters because the Noro, as you can see, has done its nice little transitionary stripy thing. And it adds enough interest. So I didn't need to add textural interest with the bobbles there either, which is why I think the bobbles are in there. They're in there to add some textural interest. I think if I were wanting to do it, I would possibly, the other thing you can do is if you're using a yarn that's plain, I would be inclined that where she has the bobble, instead of doing a bobble, I would possibly just put a stitch of that deering, whatever this, this mustardy color here, and then popping a blob in there, or even actually a stitch of this charcoal, which is this main color here, and that would just sort of add a focal point in the center, but it wouldn't be as sort of textural as a bobble. So I'm absolutely super happy with that. I'm just got another couple of rounds of the black to do, and then I'm on to dividing sleeves, which will be great because once I've done that, once I've divided for the sleeves, I will then be able to see where we're sitting with this. I'll also be able to get the underarms done and be able to sort of place some markers underneath each side of the underarms, which I've got a piece of fluff here and it's driving me mad. There we go. Underneath the underarms, and then from there I just need to decide whether I'm going to put a false seam in. I haven't quite decided. I might do a few rounds, see how it looks. Or what I will be doing is I'll have 2 markers underneath the underarms here, because I add some additional shaping in to the body to accommodate for my pear shape. And I have to say, with all this baking I'm doing, the pear is, she's a pregnant pear at the minute. She's, more dog walking will be required, I tell you. But that's what I will be doing. So I'm kind of hoping that this Easter I'll be able to get a bit more of that done. So yeah, so I felt really good because I just really wanted to get through that colour work. So that's where I'm at with that. The other thing I did since I spoke to you the other day is our felted slippers. These were the ones that I showed you. So I have done some mending and refelting on these. And as you can see, I stitched these through. These went back through in the wash again, and they felted up quite nicely. Oh, there we go. That's a really good. And it just keeps them going. I mean, this is the beautiful thing, because they don't shrink any further once you've refelted them. There you go. But it's just it's such an easy repair. And then of course I did this one and realised that it needed a bit more there, but I can actually just line that through. So that was actually another really little good job off the list, and those slippers are still good to go. Not that I have any little feet in this house that can wear them, but I might actually send these up to my sister-in-law and my brother for my wee niece, because I think that before long she'll be fitting into these, and I think that will be loads of fun for her. So that's what else I've been up to. But I wanted to talk to you about blankets. First, before I do that, though, I'm just going to see, because loads of you have jumped on. Wow, good morning, everybody. Who have I got in here? Oh, and Helen and Jeanette, Donna, Tina, Barbara, Karen. Oh, good to see Diana. Good to see all the regulars. Right. Oh, yeah, everyone is here. So good to see Helen here, Knitted Nipples. I know Helen. And that's the thing, that's the thing with bobbles, you've got to put bobbles in the right places, because let's find no, you do not want bobbles in the wrong places. Yvonne saying nice hat. Now this hat is another classic Marie, I haven't written it up yet, pattern. Of course it is. story of my life. So the Ever After cowl, which I've shown you, and I've got the gauntlets. This is actually the Ever After hat. I did actually complete the series, never got round to bothering to get it written up because I kept mucking around with the shaping. The trick with it is if I pull it forward there so you can see, is how to actually get the shaping, because I wanted to maintain the feather and fan. And I sort of I got it done, and then I scribbled it down, and then I rechanged it, and then I scribbled it, and I've knitted about 3 of these and given a number away. And then my favorite one, the red one that goes with this, I lost on my last trip away. And yeah, so I do actually need to knit another one. And 2020, I told myself, was the year where I have all these designs that I've done and knitted that I will actually get them tech edited and actually published. That's what I said to myself I'd do on lockdown, and look what's happened. I've done more hours on lockdown than what I have in normal work. So it's just crazy. The things you don't know, So that's what that hat is. So thank you very much for that. And the yarn, actually, is, and you can't really see it, but the yarn is what we delightfully call in our dye house a gash hank. It's actually naked possum that was used at the end of a dye run. They were dyeing something else, and obviously it was a purpley thing, a grey, and what they do is at the end of the print run, they will print whatever they're printing, and then if they've got stray hanks lying around, and this particular hank probably was an underweight hank, and I think it also had some knots and stuff in it, so it was a reject hank from the mill. And they ran that through several times. So it got run through. It had some grey. There was and I think what they must have been printing was something that was like a green monochrome print, and then also a purple monochrome print. And that's what's happened, and that's how it's come out. So yeah, it's actually a process that we're playing around with to actually produce our own printed yarns. But this is years old. Yeah. So these are the things that we find. Bless our hearts. And everyone's telling me how sunny it is. So it sounds like that things that's so Otaki and Lower Hutt are sunny. It is not sunny here, and it's actually cold to the point that when I'm done here, I'll probably go in and light the fire. It's that cold. Hence the reason why I'm all rugged up this morning. I'm quite chilly. Sweater, because I know someone will ask me about this. This is Climb Every Mountain and the name has just gone. Isabel Kramer? Someone will find that for me. Someone find me the link and pop it in there from the Rambla. Climb Every Mountain. I'm sure it's Isabel Kramer, which I knit a few years ago, not the last Rugby World Cup, the one before. I knit this during the World Cup because that's what you do. Anyway, blankets. I want to talk about blankets. We have a wonderful relationship. In fact, one of our shareholders, because there's a whole group of us that own the mill, and which the Skeinz is part of, and one of our shareholders is a weaver, and they are based in the Wairarapa, and we love them dearly. And they we spin or their yarn for their stunning blankets, but we've also spun a series of yarn to actually have blankets made specifically for us. So they actually do them just for us. We've done it off and on over the years when we've had yarn that we've sort of textured yarn, and we thought, oh, actually that would look so good in a blanket, and we'll contact them and they'll do us a run of very, very specific blankets, and we adore them. And I've been working with Lindsay a little while now, and we've been designing some blankets for us, and I'm going to pull this one out, and we've got in 3 of them, 3 ranges that we have, and one is this, they're all alpaca. 2 of them are alpaca and 1 is merino. The first ones are your classic brushed alpaca blankets. So there's 2 common brushed blankets out there. One is alpaca and the other is mohair. We have got these alpaca blankets that are absolutely stunning. We've got 2 colours up at the minute, and I just am hoping that I'll be able to get a photograph in of the 3rd colour that I know that we have there. And they are rich and unctuous and gorgeous, and yeah, they're really beautiful. And the brushed alpaca And they're sort of what I call standard throw size. I think I do have the size on the website, and they are divine. And we have spun the yarn specifically for these blankets. The brushed alpaca ones are actually a darker alpaca, which we've over dyed with a series of colors, so they're really lovely and deep, and they just go with a lot of decor, and they're stunning. At the minute, there is the rich, we've called it olive grove, but it's like a rich sort of a ochre, dark, sort of warm tone, and the other one on there is which have I got it here, is a dark purple. It is divine. Those are the two that are up there, and they're called Italiano. And the other one of these ones that I wanted to show you, because this stitch that he's woven for us was done specifically for us, so you can't get this style of blanket anywhere else. He's done it just for us, and it's this utterly beautiful basket weave stitch, and this is in alpaca. Now, if you came to Woolfest last year in Auckland, or you came to Creative Fibre Festival in Palmerston North last year, I had these blankets with me. They're utterly divine, so soft, really warm. So if you've got anybody, either yourselves or you've got anybody out there at the moment that you can't get to and you're concerned about, so whether it's someone at home or someone in rest care, these blankets are amazing and they're of a size that you can actually, they're perfect to pop if you're in a chair, to pop over your knee, but they're also big enough that you're able to actually, they're sort of single bed size, but if you're in a larger bed, you can actually put them long ways across the bed to keep you warm across the upper torso. They're utterly delicious. We're really proud of them. We've got these ones in a charcoal basket weave. We've also got it like in a rich caramel coloured with cream basket weave. Almost looks like a Jersey caramel. It's really delicious. And then 100% cream. Totally beautiful. So they're up there. They're $149. Now, if you've bought these sort of bespoke blankets from anywhere else before, you'll know that $149 is an utter steal. Usually they're well more than $200 plus. So that is and this one is called rattan. So as I said, we've got definitely the three colors up and available at the moment. So the other thing we can do is that you can either order these for yourselves, but obviously if you've got somebody else who is so you may have a parent or someone in rest care or somebody that you know that you're concerned about and you're worried about as the weather gets cooler. And apparently, according to a NIWA scientist I saw speaking yesterday, that after this weekend things are going to cool down quite significantly. If you're worried about those people, you can actually nominate a different shipping address from your address. So when you place your order for the blankets, you can actually say, look, we would like this to go to this person. So that way we can send these blankets out to somebody who needs it on your behalf, and we can make sure we get it delivered to them. So do remember that. So that is the rattan. The other one I wanted to show you and these have only just arrived. We only actually launched these as part of the Stitching Summer this year. They arrived pretty much right on Christmas. And these are a range of, there we go. These are a range of baby blankets. Now, at this stage, we've only got pink, blue, and cream available. I can hear my husband out there. Can you hear? I don't know whether you can hear him. This is a directional microphone, so hopefully you can't. But he's out. I can hear him out there filling the wood box, huffing and coughing and carrying on. Anyway, where did I get to? This is Hebe. Really proud of these. These are a 100% merino, New Zealand merino baby blanket, and they have been designed for that larger American cot size. And we spent a lot of time fiddling around with the sizing on these and getting the sizing just right, because we wanted something that would fit pretty much standard cot plus those bigger cots that you have available, but could also easily be used in bassinet, but also be very, very easily used to tuck around in either a capsule or a buggy if you're, taking a little one out for a walk. The reality of it is that, within this lockdown period, babies don't respect a lockdown. They come when they come. So these are ideal. If you were one of these people that unfortunately were expecting and that all of this happened so quickly and you didn't have your nursery completely set up, these baby blankets are available and they are incredibly soft. So they have been woven and we've deliberately done them with this ever so light brushing over the top. So as you can see, there we go. Still a smooth fabric, so it's not like a brushed blanket where the pile sits quite high. It's not. It's almost like rubbing your hand over velvet. It is that soft. It is amazing. And we've done that quite deliberately. See, those are super, super, super soft. Now, the size of these two, it doesn't have to be just used for a baby blanket. If the alpaca blankets are too big for you and you're wanting a smaller size knee rug or a blanket that you can actually use to pop around a shoulder if you're in care or in bed, the softness of these, the alpaca blankets are unbelievably soft. These are next level. These are softer again. So these will be especially good for anybody who's possibly in hospice, as well as babies, or someone whose skin is unbelievably sensitive and they're feeling the cold at the moment. So we've got, these blankets are called Hebe. I think, and I forgot to look it up, I think on the site we've got them for $120, which is incredibly good value. They are, in all of these, 100% New Zealand grown and made. So we're really, really proud of these. And you, again, can nominate. So if you know somebody that will benefit from one of these blankets at this time and they haven't been able to get out and get anything, or someone who's had a baby during the lockdown and you're wanting to make sure that they have got everything that they need, you're able to place your order and then nominate where we need to get that delivery to. We're not obviously packing or dispatching or doing everything across Easter. Damien has worked his absolute heart out for the last 12 days and we did get permission to have a second staff member come in to help clear as many as we could before Easter. So the team are having a few days off, but they will be back. Damien will be back at it on Tuesday. So those blankets are there and they are available. We're really, as I said, we're really, really pleased with them. Very pleased with them. So hopefully I might even be able to get a couple of other colours up, because we've had a couple of colours come in since we had the professional photography done at the end of last year. So the photography might be a bit rudimentary. That might be Marie photography, but that's okay. It'll give you an idea. Right, let's have a quick little look here and see how everybody is doing. Oh, everyone's telling me how sunny it is. Guys, geez, guys, it's not sunny, I'm cold. I only live one street back from the beach here, and we have had the most incredible swells. I think it must be from the Cyclone Harold, and oh my word, it has been so loud. Wow, like you can hear, it's just like loud. It's been amazing, absolutely incredible. Oh, they're all telling me how sunny it is. Sounds like the South Island is amazing today. Oh, there we go. Thank you so much, Suzanne. Climb Every Mountain by Heidi Kiddermeyer. There you go. Thank you. I completely forgot. That is, you got, and Nicole did that too for me. You guys are utterly fantastic. Thank you so much. Right, in terms of baking, I haven't, what else? I did actually bake a birthday cake for my wee man yesterday, and it was just a chocky cake. Nothing special. It was out of the Edmonds. Chocky cake out of the Edmonds. He had a lovely, lovely day, which was good. And it's so tough. He has been so amazing. And Hugo, honestly, he had been planning his birthday party celebrations. He had since January. He had planned it. He had all his little mates, all his little mates sorted. Need a drink. He had everything. He had invitations all sent out. And they were going to have the big sleepover. They were going to have the the big sleepover. They were going to have the ocean spa, and we're going to have a homemade pizza party, and it was all on. And bless his sweetheart, he adjusted, and he has been so incredible. So we had our own little party here last night, and we played Uno, and we watched Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, and we ate cake, because you can. So I hope everything is going great at your place. I will be back again tomorrow. Tomorrow's Saturday, and it is pajama party day. And I will be here with fabulous Ethan. I will be able to show you, hopefully, that I've divided off from my body and sleeves. We also need to see how his sweater is progressing as well, because I know that by looking at the progress I saw the other day, he was... I think he had run with the sleeves, and he's probably starting to work down the torso on his now. So that's the Stephen West sweater that he's working on. So I'm dying to see how that's going. And also, too, we're going to talk about tomorrow the mystery knit-along that they have done there as part of the Outlaw Lair, because the final clue was out for that and completed projects were finished. And thank you so much for everybody who've been posting not only on the Outlaw Lair, but they've been posting those projects in the speakeasy as well. They are utterly divine and completely beautiful. Only use 2 balls of Outlaw Bohemia Sport, preferably in contrasting colours. So if you've got a couple of balls already sitting in stash and you're not 100% with what you're going to do with them, we'll talk about how you can dig those out and actually jump on and get those patterns and get that started. So I will do that with Ethan tomorrow as well. So I'll be here tomorrow on me Jim Jams. So until then, take care. Remember, if you need some blankets, yes, we're still open and we can get those out. And if you're needing to order yarn or accessories, look, feel free to place your order, but they may not be going out until the lockdown level is reduced. But until then, I'll be back tomorrow, and you have a great, good Friday. Take care.